Hey everyone, as I'm sure most of you are aware, there was a pretty interesting incident with the lead product manager at Blizzard and Asmongold. Now I don't want to get too much into all the specifics of that interaction, so I'll leave a link to Asmongold's video in the description for anyone that's interested in his response to all that. But what I do want to talk about is how this all relates to Blizzard's belief systems and how they interact with their fan bases. So the quick TLDR of what happened is the lead product manager at Blizzard, Adam Haliski, called Asmongold an asshole on a tweet that read, "I want to make something very clear. Asmongold's kind of hatred and rudeness is not welcome in Final Fantasy XIV. It's the responsibility of every decent player to overwhelmingly report every single incident of it and make sure he's run off quickly. Do not give him or his fanboys room." This tweet is obviously promoting in-game harassment, which, surprise surprise, Asmongold dealt with quite a bit of when he first jumped into Final Fantasy. Now obviously it wasn't this person's tweet that made people harass or troll him. It was going to happen no matter what. But Adam's response to it has got me thinking, is this how a lot of people at Blizzard feel about their fans? And more specifically, their hardcore fans. The people that truly care about their games, so much in fact that they have built entire careers out of just being passionate about one of their titles. Sure, most people at Blizzard probably don't view their fans with this much disdain, but they clearly don't value their intellectual input or advice. Because for some reason, playing video games for a living doesn't give you the same credentials as someone like a game designer, who usually comes up with ideas by examining and playing lots of games for a living. There is this obvious disconnect that has been growing between fans and Blizzard employees for some time now. One of the most recent examples of this was with World of Warcraft's Covenant systems in Shadowlands. Every single popular streamer and YouTuber said these systems would not pan out the way the designers wanted. And lo and behold, they were right. A month into the expansion, and the majority of players were just picking the strongest Covenant for their class and calling it a day. And to be honest, anyone who even played WoW on a casual level could have predicted the same outcome. It's this blatant disregard for player concerns that really have me worried for games such as Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is a game that I've been following very closely since its announcement. And if you're familiar with my channel at all, then you're probably already aware that the majority of my content is for Diablo 4 and other ARPGs. Even though the developers for D4 have decided to make a small effort to communicate with us throughout the development process via quarterly updates, they still seem to ignore major sticking points or issues that the fans have had so far. One of the major areas of concern has been infinite power systems, like the Paragon system in Diablo 3. That system is almost universally hated. Nothing about an infinite system feels good, and they are only ever used to try to get players into playing more and more, and not to enhance the experience in any way. Despite the common knowledge of this, designers have already discussed bringing infinite systems back in Diablo 4, but in a way that's less impactful. Now you'd think that with how much hate Paragon's got, that the obvious choice a good game designer would make would be to, I don't know, not put them in? But it's like they are just way more concerned with metrics and getting people hooked on stupid systems that they don't realize it's going to be what makes players hate their game. If they focused more on making players happy and creating systems that were meaningful and interesting, I can guarantee you that it would yield better results. And if they truly cared about our feedback with Diablo, then we'd be getting more updates than 4 a year. There are plenty of indie developers out there that have shown us time and time again what real communication looks like, and it's not what Blizzard does. Everything they do that they call communication always comes across as more of a PR stunt, like big oil companies making commercials about climate change and how they are doing their part. It all feels disingenuous. It gives everyone this feeling like we're just mere ants that are unable to understand the actions of these all-seeing deities at Blizzard. We just don't have the brain power to comprehend the inner workings of their intricate game systems. And while this might be the case for some people, I can assure you it's not the case for the content creators that are making more money off these games than the people working on them. But in the end though, I think a lot of this ties into Blizzard understanding what they have. And what I mean by that is, they know people love the Diablo franchise and will purchase just about any game with a Diablo name associated with it. The same generally applies to World of Warcraft as well, so they probably feel like they can treat us however they want and it won't change a thing. But I think with Asmongold trying out Final Fantasy with such a great response, along with people like Bellular and many others, Blizzard might have more of a reason to be concerned. I don't think people really realize how much influence content creators have on people and what games they play. Square Enix seems to understand this. I believe that's why they banned the players that were harassing Asmongold, and it honestly just highlights how little Blizzard cares about their players, especially the players that give their game the most attention. If Blizzard refuses to make changes in the way they interact with their player bases and how they communicate with us, they will see an obvious decline in the trust that players have in them to deliver us good games. A decline that I believe is already starting to happen, and it will eventually get to the point where even a name as big as Diablo won't save them.
Not even death can save you from me.